Hello Unlockers, and here is your bite-sized make it real video from ADHD Unlocked on the topic of managing distractions. So I'm going to give you a quick few tips today on how to manage distractions. You can't be distracted from something unless you know what it is you're being distracted from. So the opposite of distraction is traction. And I'd want to recommend an excellent book by Nir al called Indistractable. And he talks about how you need to make time for traction in your life. So setting goals, what's important to you, what's important that you're doing that aligns to your values. Are you making enough time for family and self-care? So you cannot be distracted unless you know what you're being distracted from. So the opposite of distraction is traction. Give yourself some kind of physical signal and also help your brain along when it needs to not be distracted. So I use over-the-ear headphones, and what I do is I will use something called pink noise, which is a bit like white noise, but it's lower in frequency. And I know the Ministry of Defence have pumped this through speakers in their offices before to help people concentrate. It just kind of takes up a bit of bandwidth through your ears, and I found it's much easier to concentrate if I put pink noise through over-the-ear headphones. The over-the-ear headphones signal to my brain it's time to concentrate. Also, if somebody walks in, there's a sign there, do not disturb. So this is quite important. But if you don't like pink noise, you could try white noise, or you could try binaural beats, which is different rhythms, or focus music. So that's a tip from myself to use headphones. Quick tip is to manage internal distractions. Now, I often get a motorway of thoughts and thought bubbles popping in and ideas when I'm trying to work on something else, and the urge to act upon them, look something up on the internet, read about something, go and do something else is overwhelming at times. So if you make a pact with yourself to not act upon the urge and surf that urge, as Nir al talks about in his book, what I do is I now write down that idea or that thought on a piece of paper so that I can look at it later. Because then the thought's not lost, and I've made a commitment, I've written that down, I'm going to make time to follow that thought later. So that's called surfing the urge, to follow where your brain wants to go at any given moment to stay on track. Make pacts and boundaries with yourself. Now, this is quite easy to do with technology. So, for example, if you go to the settings on your phone and you have an iPhone, you go to screen time, you can actually set app limits and timings for different types of games, social networking, different types of apps, which can be very, very useful. So it blocks off maybe gaming or social media after a certain time. You can override it, but it's more difficult to do. So we want to put more barriers to getting distracted in place. So you can manage your notifications that way. But one of the most helpful things for me is a little app called Forest. Now, Forest is an app which allows you to grow trees in 25-minute intervals for not touching your phone. So if I click plant, it will grow a tree, and it's a bit like gamifying not being distracted. So watch the trees grow. And of course, now I don't want to touch my phone until the 25 minutes is up because my tree will die and I want to grow my forest. So it's a really simple but effective way to say, right, I'm not touching my phone right now. The phone is on silent. I don't want to wreck my little growing tree on my Forest app, so I'm not going to get distracted. So here's a few quick tips to managing distraction in the moment. But the most important thing to do is to make time for traction. Don't forget self-care and time with your family and friends and loved ones, because even if you're just relaxing, that is not being distracted. That is taking you towards your goal, which is spending quality time with your loved ones. So plan out what you want to do, who you want to be, how much time you want to spend with people, and make sure that you're moving towards traction and that things that you are doing are moving you towards your goals and making you happier and healthier.